Good evening, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Coming to you live here, Big Chonis, Sunday evening on the East Coast, United States of America, looking at some interesting Bitcoin price action as we have started a brand new week in Bitcoin. We closed out our daily candle about an hour 45 minutes ago, and we're seeing a little pop in price action that's bringing up some of our coins here. Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum over 140 again. We're seeing Litecoin trying to move up in that 132s. Remember, this has been just a gigantic move here for Litecoin overall, rising up to the very tippity of this this rising wedge, which is kind of a little subjective as to where we can actually, draw our upper line here. We can actually see the little difference there to maybe a shtickle of more running room. I think that's a technical term, bringing us to potentially $64, $65. And looking back here about the resistance that Litecoin had on this candle cluster here, got as high as 69, but both were able to close at around 66. So there's the next confluence plus this guy right here, this candle as well. Very resistance on their second attempt to move higher. So strong resistance at 65 and change on Litecoin, and we're at 61-ish, 62. Very impressive as we start a new week in Litecoin after four consecutive bullish weeks of Litecoin. Litecoin leading the market continually as Bitcoin is now broken through 4,000 once again on the daily. Now we were breaking through 4K on the daily 2 days ago, right? Intraday candle, we got as high as 40.37.47. Let's mark that. Close enough. Yeah, 47. Yeah, right there. 37.47. So for now, that is our resistance in the 4Ks. Now let's talk about the 4K region here, because we have history, obviously, and let's bring my channel down to right there at that peak. So 41.94 was where we found our resistance the last time we hit it. And that was a while ago, right? It seemed like a very long time ago. Back in February 24th there, we hit that 4K, but that was the first time that we were actually able to close above, close above that 4K region. And we were only up there for one day, just one day. And prior to that, we had not been above the 4K region since the first week in the new year. So it's meaningful for Bitcoin in this price sequence to find price action above $4,000 once again. Okay. Ever since our current bottom, and I use the word current, we have had a range of course around 3130 to 3150, and have been over 4K region, but have only closed above the 4K region one time, two times, three times, and today maybe could be our fourth time above the 4K and actually having a chance to close above. Only 22 hours left to go in our daily candle, obviously, but it's notable that we're once again here. And how many attempts of resistance, 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, can then begin turn into support if the bulls can step up and actually bust us through here. Now, this is tricky. Let me get rid of this guy for a second. This is tricky because there are reasons, and we can go over them in a minute, about how our indicators are showing, in some time frame, especially our higher ones, running room. A continuation of this bullish momentum for sure. The volume profile is relatively consistent, but I'm going to show you a couple other perspectives that I've been playing around with that are very notable and something to kind of look at. We're also watching, that looks good, we're also watching the fact that the higher low has been consistently established ever since February 8th. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Currently, this is our higher low foundation also corresponding with this reversal of price resistance turn support at around 39.40. So when we were able to actually break 39.40 the past day or so, this has been our resistance flip into support zone that's currently pushing us above 4K once again. Now, we got to it 2 days ago. We got the resistance. Okay, we actually closed below. And frankly, another close above 4K would give me a little more confidence than the very first one did, because the second breakthroughs of resistance patterns are very notable, because it kind of shows that there's another more fight or level into the push there. And this is why the volume today really needs to be notable, because we kind of have this, I would call it steady but declining volume profile. And to really break through the resistance, and listen, we can go a couple $100 here. We can still go up to as high as 41.70. Okay, if we get over $4,200, that would be really good. You know, that would be really something. Especially if it's especially, I mean, it has to be front-ended by volume there, because listen, we've had the circumstance where like the floor drops out from under us, okay, on a very bullish stance here and move. There's a lot of money that's been flown, a lot of valuations in altcoins that have risen substantially more percentage-wise than Bitcoin was. So an outflow of altcoin profits into Bitcoin is a possibility, especially if Bitcoin can really step it up. It hasn't yet, though. We've been in this range here of a couple $100. We're talking percentiles a day, you know, under, 6, 8 percentiles, where altcoins going 20, 30, 50, even more over the course of days and weeks, where Bitcoin has not. The stability of Bitcoin has allowed that altcoin market to continue to thrive over the past several weeks. And a lot of the gains in the Satoshi level, remember we're talking about the Satoshi level in altcoins. There's one Bitcoin, okay? There's just one Bitcoin, but there's all these other altcoins. And then it's even, I was looking at the Binance today, and then, you have your USD pairing, your Bitcoin pairing, your BNB pairing. So there's all these different weightings against other coins now. Like the BNB coin has been much more bullish than Bitcoin. So it feels like it's so much different calculations in your head when you're trying to figure out which is the best market to trade on, or at least what's the chart to look at, what's the valuation to really figure out how much is this really worth if you're buying it based on a BNB or ETH or Bitcoin or USDT or USD or USOC or the Gemini one or the other one. There's so many stable coins that aren't necessarily pegged at $1. So there's so many variations right now in crypto, and it's always been complex, but I feel like it's kind of getting to this point where there's so many different variables happening and so many different charts that are saying different kinds of arbitrage based on which pairing you're actually comparing it to. But I digress. Who's in the chat room tonight? We got 88 of my closest friends on a Sunday night. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Claiborne Taylor, the first like. I appreciate it. SS Swartz, thanks for coming out tonight. Matt Wander, what's up, my brother? Yes, looks like some action indeed. Donkey Boy, what's up, buddy? Hey, Bleeding Crypto, good to have you, my friend. Good to have you. Fliza11, what's up? Happy Sunday to you as well. Beck Grimm, hey, what's up, buddy? Bud Thompson, thumbs up for me, thumbs up for you. Thumbs up, guys. Appreciate your support. 87 watching now. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate your thumbs up. Neo Geo, Hugo, hello. Hank Duster. Yeah, we can talk about that. Tone Loke, hey. Crypto Nij. Hello, JC Crypto, PLC, Luis Garcia, Malik Sony. Everybody's saying hello right now. Adam Anderson, Evan Dell. Appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it. Tony Bayless, what's up, my brother? Sloan B, hey. Zay Mayer. Yeah, Vamp. He's been a busy man recently, but I'll get on with him eventually for sure. Beach Firefly. Hey, Scorp Music. I am well, my friend. Thank you for asking. Hank Dossier. 2 thumbs up and a peace sign. Appreciate it. All right. Remember to hit that like button there. Remember to give it a follow. Twitter, YouTube. Check me out on Bitcoin Live. And check out my website, bigchonis.com. Do online mentoring. You can go through some of the stuff I talk about on the show. About an hour session using Skype, only $129 an hour. Please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or email bigchonis@gmail.com. As always, tips are always appreciated if you guys feel so inclined on the Super Chat. And let's keep going here. All right, let's get into some tight Bitcoin price action. We talked a little bit about our daily and how we're drifting bullishly. Okay, we're drifting bullishly into the brand new week of Bitcoin. Right, I go short term, I go long term here. Okay, so we just finished out. Let's turn this down there. There we go. Okay, so we just finished up a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on our 5th week of this upward stair step here. Pretty impressive. Okay, pretty impressive. Okay, look at this steady volume. Basically 3 weeks in a row of more or less the exact same freaking volume after a large volume sell-off. Okay, and it's interesting, we had this very our highest volume candle here November 19th, the week of, this is the weekly here, people. Okay, this is our highest volume candle since February 5th. We all remember February 5th of 2018, Bitcoin's tremendous dump. When the week started at $8,100, it got as high as well, actually, I'm not sure if it went up here to 9K, and then fell all the way to sub $6,000, and creates a very nice V bounce here that brought Bitcoin up almost 100% in that particular bounce. And I think what's notable is that we have our very large volume bearish here on this candle. And the one candle that kind of started it all, that created this whole bounce situation, this candle here, that was started the week before Christmas, the week of December 17th. And the volume profile behind it, listen, this was just be bought straight up, right? It was almost a Maribozu. Okay. And the fact that the previous week's candle closed at the bottom, a lot of this bottoming to this candle here and this good looking green candle here was actually much less volume. Okay, this was less buy volume than the selling we kind of had in the preceding weeks. So what am I saying here? We had our biggest volume in that week, bearish candle, and then we basically had 3 more weeks, okay, of selling, lower lows. And it wasn't until a week, 4 or 5 weeks after we had this largest volume capitulation candle did we actually have our bullish bounce with a lower volume profile. And this is kind of why this bounce here, though, let's face it, this has been just an altcoin bounce. I mean, this really has. We have Bitcoin bouncing, 30%. It's a good deal. But Bitcoin bounced like crazy, 100%. Bitcoin 6,500 to, this was like a 50% bounce here. 6K to, 8K, and another 40% bounce there. We had these big ass bounces here during our, let's call it 2018 season. And this is the bottom that only gives us just this 30% move. And again, cost, I'm saying so far, because we're still in this range here that could still range higher. But how long has this taken? And I had basically been looking at Bitcoin overall ranging in the sideways channel, middle Bollinger acting as resistance as it has acted all the way before. Several attempts breaking through have been rejected. Volume remains moderate to low, and indicators still show bullish on daily and weekly time frames, although getting a little long in the current bullish cycle compared to previous ones. So I bring up my Bollinger Bands on my weekly chart, and let's just get rid of my of the artwork here for a moment. And we opened our Bollinger Band middle BB. Let's bring you back here for a second. At 39.57, which means, folks, we are currently above our middle Bollinger Band, above it, for the first time since our tether pump week of October of 2018. We all remember our tether pump where tether dumped from a dollar peg to like 85 cents. And a lot of that got sucked out of tether, sent to Bitcoin, converted to fiat, probably, exited the Bitcoin crypto markets, and then a couple weeks later, we know what happened later. So really, this tether pump and selling above the middle Bollinger, you hear what I'm saying here? I got to call this out. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Huh. I wanted, right? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Selling above the middle BB on the last time it broke above the weekly text wrap. Thank you. Was the play, was the either bull exit or short entry, right? Let's make you bigger here. And oh yeah, let's get rid of this. And good. So this candle, and the moment that Bitcoin on the weekly candle was able to get above intra-week, the middle Bollinger. Remember, this was very quick. Now, I say this because, holy freaking heck, we did it again. On this candle, we were above the middle Bollinger intra-week, September 1st, right? And those people that sold their longs, can't see it here with this stupid thing here. Oops. There we go. That sold their longs and or entered short positions. Not saying you have to enter shorts if you sell your longs, but in this as well, break above the middle Bollinger, were rewarded in that trade by being out of their longs and or loading into their shorts. And it was a nice payday. Now, we do have an example back in July, which was a very bullish month, obviously. We started July at 6K, and 3 weeks later, we were at $8,400. Quite a month. But then 2 weeks after that, we were back to 6K. You know, we put in like a lower low. Once this sucker peaked above and closed above the middle Bollinger, mind you, okay, we had a really vicious sell-off. That was after a scooping of the lower Bollinger. So what does this really mean? So we have our first break of middle Bollinger, intra-week. The week has just started, people. This week is like an hour and a half old. Okay, it's a it's like the thumbnail on the Jurassic scale. It just began. I want you to note the lower Bollinger on the weeklies at $2,500 and rising vigorously. The upper Bollinger is at 553.30 and falling vigorously. And we're finally getting some tightening in our overall weekly Bollinger profile. So we keep this in mind because of the significance intra-week once again of this break. So what does this tell us? Well, you know, we could get above here. We could get out on a wick out. We could get rejected hard on a double tap of the last place we got rejected hard, right? And where was the last place we got rejected hard? Right there, 4180-ish. Okay, double top, not you know, thou shalt not pass go, thou shalt not collect $4,200. Okay, we have examples of rejections. We get rejected. We get rejected. We get rejected. when Bitcoin is around the 4180 to 42-ish $100. Okay, if Bitcoin starts to go to like $4,300, then we're going much higher. That would be significant. That's that much of a breakthrough of all this resistance. Obviously a close above would be the ideal situation. Okay, but we're seeing the setup here as we are once again very early into this week. So we started a new week here. Let's just quickly, what the heck happened there? There we go. Just quickly here, weekly RSI at 42 and rising. It's funny. The RSI this was the first time here. Remember where the RSI broke 30 on the weekly in the Coinbase era, obviously. But the last time it did it was, I just have to bring this up. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This one. This is Stamp, right? Yeah, this is Stamp. So, 2015, the bottom of 2015, January, we had this break of the 30 on the RSI weekly, and this actually did denote our bottom, even though we had a very close call to a second tap many months down the road with a much higher RSI profile. The thing that gives me pause, though, is that we remember that this bounce here, which bounced up like $150 and everything, this bounce was tremendous. This bounce was 60%, It was a big bounce. It was basically 150. There we go. Oh, Bollinger's. It was basically this 150 bounce. Where's the week? Where is the numbers? So it was December. No, it was here. There it is. January of 15. Boom. Low was 2. There it is. 152. High was 272. So even though it was a terrible week, you had a bounce there much more significant than our 30% move here. Was it 30%? Can't even see it. I got a lot of crap here, don't I? Yeah, about 35%. So my point in all this is, because of this, even with this bullishness we've had over the past several weeks here, relatively speaking, we have to note our overall, this is kind of a lower volume, and a lot of the volume, let's face it, people, a lot of this volume is just wash trading. It's just bots. It's just the exchanges themselves making shit look a lot more volatile and more free organic dollar flow momentum than we actually are seeing, and that we actually are really truthfully like the organics of this market are clear sometimes. And then I don't want to use the word manipulation, but at least because we're dealing with an overall, relatively speaking, low dollar amount, how low are we talking about? We're talking about Bitcoin's price action here. I'm sorry if I blurred your eyes there for a second. Let's do a little night mode here on CoinMarketCap and get rid of these stupid ads. Bitcoin dominance, okay, 50%. We're hovering around half the money in crypto is in Bitcoin, 71 billion of it, and the other half, other 71 billion of it, which adds to $141,232,758,057. That corresponds to a little lower 50% dominance, which is on the lower side of what we've been seeing over the past several weeks, which means so much more money has been flowing into altcoins as the bullish valuation divergence has been consistent. And we see that with Bitcoin Cash, Binance Coin, you beast. Stellar's been having a good move here. Look at Tether. Money was pulled out of Tether very recently here. A little bit of a dip here, which is because there was a Kind of feels like there was money sucked out of Tether and put back into crypto there, putting our next Serpent. Look at Tron. Tron looks like a good look of 7 days. This is our 7-day scan here, people. So we're looking at just a trend. Remember, these are all uptrends here that are lengthy, right? They're all good looking charts, right? But these are 7 days worth of price action. Okay, Monero, 7 days on a very nice trajectory. IOTA, okay, Dash, all these are pointed more or less higher. Anything bucking the trend? Crypto.com chain, it's a little shootier of a chart. Tezos, look at all these things here. Yeah, again, USD coin. This is people. This is money. Looks like it's money being pulled out of the tethers of the safe havens and then redistributed again into crypto. Again, USDT. Only the safe haven coins have the downtick, which feels like money was pulled out quickly. You know, Augur's having a good run there. Yeah, I mean these are the hell, I don't even know that coin there. 0x, ByteX. So look at, there's very consistent uptrends in all of these charts here. You know, corresponding with the past 7 days of moves in Bitcoin price action. I just want to briefly touch on the volume historical data of Bitcoin over the past, you know, several times here. Listen, it's great seeing this 10 billion. We have not seen 10 billions in quite a while. How many months did we have in November, October, where we were in the threes, the fours, you know, boring. Finally over 10 billion, seeing the volatility. This will probably be a pretty volatile day myself. I think we'll get back over 10 billion today, just because we're over 4K once again intraday. So our volume's at 8.4 billion, and probably going to rise into this day here. This is like a 24-hour here. We're still into this day here on this current chart, and our market cap back over 70 billion. Okay, last time we were over 70 billion was February 22nd. So it took us a while here. We only dropped a little bit. You know, we only dropped, look at that. Look at that stability, okay? From February 16th to March 16th, basically 1 month, okay? $8 billion in valuation has been added to Bitcoin. And since we're at 50-50, you would assume probably factors another 8 of that was probably added from the into the alt. So roughly, I would say about $16 billion or so over the past, you know, 30 days in market cap was added, because that would be 31, be 20, 125. Yeah, we were down to about 125 or so. Does that sound right? Or we were even lower. Weren't we at almost 100 in the market cap? God, I can't remember now. It's been a while. Very impressive run. That's what I guess someone trying to say there. And look at the circulating supply rising ever so slightly. I remember, like, what is it, when we started the year, like many months ago, maybe 8 months ago, we were just over 17 million. And since then, we've added almost 600,000 Bitcoin into the market. Remember, only a max plus supply of 21 million. But we'll take like 100 years to actually get there. So again, we're checking into our very tight time frame after looking at their weekly, and we're starting off our week strong. We're starting off our day strong. What is our daily RSI looking like here? Let's see. So, still getting that second dip resistance here at 64. Okay. We talked about our bull cross continuation in our MACD. Not too frothy. God darn it. Wow, is this a TDI? Hold on. What the heck did I do here? Oh, I know what I did. Settings. Oh, what the heck is it? Whatever. No. All right. So whatever. This is. Oh, how did I get both of them over? That's the stock RSI with a TDI. That's weird. TDI on the daily is still, yeah, it's still, God, it's still very bullish. It's still very bullish, and the Bollingers are still very tight here, so this can really expand. Green over red, both over middle BB here. OBV still in the channel. Interesting. So we actually came down. Oh, interesting. So a lot of Bitcoin was taken off the table here, and we're actually putting in a lower OBV right now with a slightly similar price action in Bitcoin. So there's actually less Bitcoin held right now. This is interesting. I do see that as a slightly less Bitcoin currently held. Now, this is something that I wanted to bring up, which was pretty interesting. This is Bitcoin's dollar volume, okay? And this big-ass red one here, this was kind of the beginning of our major dump below 6K as it fell in the late November. And the big money started to see the writing on their wall and get the crap out. And so this tremendous selling, then when you compare that to the tremendous buying in the first part of December, followed by the tremendous selling in the latter part of December. I mean, look at this freaking perspective. This is the peak of buying. This is the peak of selling. This is the peak. This isn't even the peak. This was like the beginning of the selling of the dump. And then this little, what's it right here? This right here, this little green cluster right here was our bounce from 3150. And ever since then, look at it, it's getting less and less. This is dollar volume. Bitcoin, money, cash money, dollar bill, y'all. Okay. Declining. Less actual money coming in. Well, you're saying, well, Chonis, how can this be? How can there be less money coming in when you know, we just added $16 billion to Bitcoin's market cap? Well, the rising in the valuations of the altcoins and the relative stability in the actual, you know, price action of Bitcoin, okay, are not necessarily correlated. You can have money coming in, and then the multiplier, you know, if you want to call it the PE ratio, can expand because that's the valuation that the market is currently putting on the price. That's what makes a freaking shitcoin worth valuation more than what you logically feel it should be worth, because the market, the trend, the money flow, and whatever pump is behind it is really what the actuality pushing it. But as we've seen before, these valuations tend to fluctuate very quickly, and the bearish side of that is just as vicious sometimes as the bullish one as well. So I want to stay on the daily for just a moment. Clean the chart up. I'm still on Bitcoin here. I want to bring up my triple moving average. Okay, still in this bull cross here, 50 over the 100. Okay, remember, this is a hugging support area that, listen, the hundreds acted as support in multiple times. Our blue line here, 3700s are an area that look like an area that need to be held if tested, and should. It'll be surprising if it fails to hold support, as the MA100 on the daily has acted as such on these three attempts here. Now note our MA200 way up here, 4771. Still in touch, still following. This is the daily chart here, which is very significant. Oh, we got our first tips of the night here. Anthony Hardy, thank you very much, my friend. Neo Geo, thank you very much, my friend. Joe Friedenberg, thank you very much, my friend, for the Wu-Tang reference. Yeah, you know it. You know, I saw a advertising for a new like Wu-Tang movie, so I had the Chambers on the mind here. But we're keeping these in perspective, and obviously our weekly shows a different situation here, where our MA200 in fact has very strong support. And listen, this has been rising. Remember the first time we actually hit it was 3190. The second time we hit it was 33.60, and now if we hit it, it's like 34.37 there. So we've risen $700 over the past weeks, rising of this what should be strong support, right? If it gets touched again, you know, but 3 touches is a little scary. I mean, how many times does the market need to test this line, MA 200 in the weekly, to actually confirm that, all right, this is a really good base of support? We've given you two good ass bounces right here and here. Why would you possibly want a third? Why would Bitcoin possibly want to retouch this MA 200 on the weekly chart, which is currently around 34.64? And if it did do that, if it did touch again, I would be very scared, because triple touching a major MA just to confirm it for a triple time as support, that I wouldn't be convinced it would hold the support this third time, or at least induce the bounce that we've seen on these several times happen here. Also note MA 50, many weeks now into this cross of our 100 here, coming down, looking at resistance around the 5,500 and falling very rapidly. And our 100 has even yet to even turn over. Okay, it's still kind of up angled here. It's still chilling on this, you know, Bitcoin's parabolic move. It's still feeling the momentum from the parabolic move. So this kind of gives us a perspective about time. On the weekly, the 50 MA has clearly turned the corner. Okay, it's felt the wrath of last year's bear market, this current bear market. It's felt the wrath. The MA 100 hasn't. It's leveled slightly, right? But it hasn't turned down yet. And I feel it does have to at some point before we can really confirm that, you know, the beginning of the next cycle can really take place. You know, the next bullish cycle. How can we say the next bullish cycle of Bitcoin can take place when the MA 100 on the weekly hasn't even turned yet? I mean, come on. I don't even know what that. All right, so what did I want to talk about? Okay, so we get our MAs. Again, guys, this middle Bollinger interaction here on the weekly is just fascinating. This is where I feel like this battle is going to be fought. Where is this going to end up at the end of the week? Where is this price action going to show up at the end of the week when we have a candle with potentially a very high volume? We haven't had high volume, right? We have not had the high volume since this move here. And you have to ask yourself, you know, if you've been buying Bitcoin, if Bitcoin has been accumulated in this area under you know, let's call it under this 4K area, what would possibly happen if Bitcoin has failed to hold the 36s, 3500s? I mean, what are those people that have longed into this? What is the kind of stance that they're going to feel in those positions if Bitcoin can't get over the darn 4K and at least you know, stay on that 4K range here? I do want to stay on the weekly here, and I wanted to bring up. I got too many darn indicators. You know, oh, look at our longs and short. Are they crossing? Look at that. Freaking longs and shorts. They're still repelling. No cross just yet. I have so much stuff over here. I'll do the historical victory. I'll do that next time. All right, so let's get rid of that for a second. Oh, what does the TDI look in the weekly? Oh, that's interesting too. Okay, so I talked about the TDI on the daily. This is the weekly. Okay, there's still running room. There's still running room. I'm running out of my drink here. That's what we're running out of. Barkeep, refresh me, please. Running room on our leading indicator up to our middle Bollinger on our weekly chart. Okay, and we're still in a bullish stance here. We still have green over red with the target, the middle Bollinger on our TDI. So the weekly is still showing that running room there. Where's our RSI hitting right here? We had this bottom back in June, 41, and then the retest was actually support at 42. And we are right at 42. We are right at the retest of the June to July, and July was actually the bull. So this is currently a rejection of the beginning of our July bounce, end of June bounce there. Interesting. MACD, wow, look at that. Bullish histogram is still rising. MACD is still angled higher, still way in the negative. You know, I can't argue there's running room. There's running room still for this here. But also note how high we got on the bullish side. And I'm not entirely sure if the same can be said on the negative from a statistical standpoint on the MACD as it can on the bullish side there. I'm just not sure. Still that moderate bounce in our CMF, but the daily was much more bullish, right? A little pullback here, but still, you know, still strong. You know, the only thing that just is kind of just like that head scratcher, that's the word I'm looking for, head scratcher, is the fact that, all right, so Bitcoin shorts, you know, they're only at 22,000 contracts. 22,000 Bitcoin is being shorted right now on Phoenix. And listen, they've been rising, okay? There's been shorts loading into, I mean, we're only talking about since March 6th to now, like, you know, a couple $100 of price action on Bitcoin. They've been loading these shorts into there. So there are a decent amount of shorts that have been loaded into this, but, you know, about 5,000 Bitcoin, clearly some were taken off the table a couple days ago. But this little pop in Bitcoin has only added to shorts here. Okay, Bitcoin pops what, $60? Okay, and Bitcoin pops $60, and shorts add their positions. So shorts are still looking to add. And I'd be like, oh, okay, so shorts looking good, and longs are looking better-ish, but they're so low compared to where they were recently that I kind of almost feel like there's still that running room right now in longs if they wanted to, you know. But then it just feels like the market is still so hesitant to load longs into 4K unless we get some really big break into 4K with running room to kind of retrace and still be above 4K. So I'm getting a mixed signal, if you will. But the fact that shorts are rising into this feels that they're starting to get a little more comfortable, you know, loading into Bitcoin being above this area here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see, you know, maybe some, what do you call it, near-term exhaustion. I don't know. I mean, the Bitcoin, okay, we break over 4K once again, right? And you would think, okay, the market's going to feel like we did it, yoo-hoo. But once again, you know, we're just kind of hanging around here, just hanging around. It's kind of like flirting with it, like a hot bathtub, bubble bath, and you put your toe in, and you're, it's nice, but a little too hot. And we're looking for like let's get some good volume here. I mean, we had our Darth Maul candle right here with really good volume on the hourly there. You know, a volume spike we hadn't seen since, you know, back in February. That was our biggest hourly volume we had. And, I mean, it's green barely, but really what it was legit volume in an hourly candle. And we've yet to see that from a bullish standpoint yet. You know, we had a decent looking one here, which was a lot of buy volume there. But that kind of back to back bullish hourly candle profile has been something that's been kind of hard to find recently, it feels like, in this move here. That's what kind of makes a lot of this feel so. It's good that we're drifting higher, but at the same time, the running room and the time we've basically been spending in this reaction here, just how much more running room does the market really have as Bitcoin continues to lead the way? Let's take a little pause here and see what is going on. 107, cool, getting back over 100. I like it. So what else did I want to discuss? Yeah, so a couple things here. Only really the daily on the Ichimoku is the most interesting chart right now. The fact that we were able to break above Tenkan-sen, riding here and flagging above it, finding two supports in the 36, 37, the 38 on any kind of a pullback here, potentially re-strengthening one more time for continuation. Holding cloud support above 3,700 remains paramount. Whew, okay, my drink is empty and my throat is parched, and I think that's a good time to call it here. We've been online, wow, 50 minutes. I can't believe I've been talking for 50 minutes. To wonder I'm so wiped out here. All right, guys, listen, we're once again back around 4K. To sum it all up, we're hitting right at our weekly middle Bollinger. Okay, like we're above it. We did it. We freaking did it. But where I started the show was, oh, come on, there we go. Was that we have the last two examples of being above, last three examples of being above the middle Bollinger in the weekly chart have been sells and or short entries. And once again, for the fourth time since July of 2018, we are above just barely that middle Bollinger there. So we ask ourselves, will history repeat once again as we have just started a brand new week? Just started a brand new week in price action of Bitcoin. This is a very important weekly candle. Okay, if we can close this above the middle Bollinger, and then more importantly, open and close the next week above the middle Bollinger, then a target of our upper Bollinger is definitely possible, and by then it will be just around 5K. Holy crap. But we're so early in the week here, and this touch and the history behind it, whew, getting excited. So that's where I'll leave you guys tonight. Thank you for joining me. Have a great Sunday. Be safe. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Don't drink and drive. I'll leave you guys with Bitcoin once again right at $4,000. Which way is it going to go? What will this week bring us in the price action of Bitcoin? Keep watching that volume. Maybe one more spike up. Remember, we're seeing short contracts loading into this. And because they're feeling like this is toppy with Bitcoin at the current rate. Still very early in our daily candle here. It's our 4 hour here. Decent way to start the day. Volume, Mets. Okay. And we're still in this kind of a rising, it's like a parallel channel. Right? It's basically this. One more top touch, 4060. Oh. Speaking of, my last tweet, right? We gapped. We opened above 4K. This is CME futures. We gapped up. So we have a gap here down at 39.04. We have the gap still at 39.29, which would fill when this gap filled 39.04. And we have the gap at 35.73 as well. And we have the other gap at 43.18. All in the 4 hour. And yes, we have an hourly gap at 31.38. So what is the sequence? Will for 43.91 it doesn't have to get filled on this move here. 4391 can stay open for a lot longer. This near-term one and this guy here, you know, I want them to get filled before we go much higher. Either quick wick high and then come really far down, or just lower, fill this one, maybe fill this guy here on a big wick down, come up, bring it back. Praise the Lord. All right, Big Chonis here, leaving you guys with Bitcoin in this channel. Right above 4K. Ah, back under it again there. You know, back under it. I don't know if the psychological stance of breaking 4K is really that meaningful at this point, as we will see. All right, appreciate it, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a follow. Bitcoin Twitter, YouTube. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the tips tonight. Big tippers, John, Neo Geo, Anthony Hardy. You guys are awesome. Much appreciated. Until next time, Big Chonis. Peace out. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.